Alright guys, I just got back from watching The Savages and I really like this movie. It's a little over 2 hours long, but it's good the entire time. I was very interested to see what was going to happen next. And Benicio del Toro is, holy crap is that guy a badass. I mean, the acting is great in this movie. It's directed by Oliver Stone, and you can just tell that they put a lot of focus into the story in this movie, and I thought they did a great job with it. There's kind of like some twists and turns, but the entire time you're just trying to see what happens next because, like I said before, the acting is very well done, and everybody played their roles so good that like each character is just very unique. They build up this core group of people, the two guys and the girl, and you kind of feel sympathy for them a little bit. I wouldn't go like too far with that, but Benicio del Toro and the gangs and everything, John Travolta was great. It just all came together to create like a really, really good movie experience. And I think this is well worth the price that the theaters charge to see a movie. Sometimes I'll say that I like a movie, but it's not really worth theater price. This one is worth theater price. So I definitely would recommend you watch The Savages. That being said, for those of you who just want to know what happens, I'm going to do my best here. I obviously don't take notes while I'm in the theater, so I just kind of go from memory, and I will try to tell you what happens as best I can remember in a little over 2 hour movie. So there will be spoilers from this point forward. So to start the movie off, we see this girl, Ophelia. They call her O. She's kind of annoying, I'll say that. And she's in love with these two guys, Ben and John, who grow weed and sell it, and they make the best weed, and they're in Laguna Beach, California. They make the best weed, and they got all this money, and they actually share the girl. They're both in love with her. She's in love with the both of them. It's very bizarre, but that's the setup here. So these gangs from Mexico want in on their marijuana product. So they send them a video of these guys getting decapitated, and they say they want to set up a meeting to maybe negotiate a deal or something. So the one guy, John, is from Iraq. He's seen a lot of stuff in the war. He's kind of a loose cannon, I guess. He gets very aggressive, and I guess you would say he's the muscle of the operation. And then you have Ben, who is the plant guy. He just grows the weed. He's more of the scientist brains of the operation. And he's really nice. He takes trips to Africa and India and tries to help other countries. So he doesn't really care for the violence. And Ophelia's just kind of there for the ride, I guess. So they end up getting into this meeting with one of the Mexican gangs, which is run by Salma Hayek, who also did a great job in this movie. And they say no, they don't want the deal. So what they do is they kidnap Ophelia to try and convince the guys to join the operation. Well, they want to keep her for a year, just to make sure that they're going to be good business partners. So they're already thinking, she's not going to last a year. We got to do something. So John Travolta is kind of a crooked cop, I guess, in the FBI or whatever it is. And he takes money from them in order to, I guess, protect them, turn a blind eye, something like that. And they're trying to get him to help them find information on Salma Hayek so that they can get Ophelia back. Meanwhile, Benicio del Toro, who is one of her henchmen, is kind of in the middle. He's working for her, but he also has his own agenda too. But there's all types of crazy stuff that happens. And one thing I do have to say about this movie, no kids. If you watch my review of Spider-Man, that really sucked because of all the kids in the theater. You don't have to worry about this, or worry about that with this movie. But Benicio del Toro he kind of like tortures people, and he's watching Ophelia, and he's also trying to work for this other guy they call Azul, who's a new up-and-coming guy in Mexico as far as the gangs go. He's got a lot of power. So Benicio del Toro's kind of the snitch of Salma Hayek's group. And there's this one scene that was just, oh my god, it was so brutal. They try to make him think, because they set up a way to kill some of them, Ben and John, so that they can steal some money. And they have to act like it wasn't them to Benicio del Toro. So they have to make them think it's one of their own guys who's a snitch. And they blame it on this one dude using hacking and all this other stuff. And they torture this poor guy. And Benicio del Toro, who's probably been friends with this man for a long time, is whipping him. Oh god. And when it shows his face, his eyeballs like hanging out. And then to finish him off, they burn him alive. And make Ben, the nice guy, light the fire. And it was just very, very sick stuff here. Pretty graphic. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward towards the end, which Ben and John find out that Salma Hayek, even though her husband was killed, her sons have been murdered, and her family's been pretty much destroyed because of her job. She does have a surviving daughter who lives in California. So they find out about this from John Travolta, who's working with Benicio del Toro. And they kidnap her, and as soon as Salma Hayek sees that they have her daughter, she's like, okay, I'll give you Ophelia, whatever you want, just don't hurt my daughter. So they end up making a trade. And this is where it gets kind of weird. There's two different endings here. The first ending that we see is they make the trade, they get in a big shootout with the snipers, with Benicio del Toro. They shoot him a bunch of times, and he finally dies, but he shoots Ben in the throat. And as Ben lays dying, and this is where Ophelia was just really annoying, she comes out with a gun, like she's gonna do something, like she's somebody now, when she's done nothing this entire time. And just seeing the way she acted in some scenes made me wish they kind of messed her up more back in the cage when she was like a prisoner. But yeah, that was kind of annoying. But besides that, Ben gets shot in the throat. John is over there with him. Ophelia's with him. She's like, I don't want to leave him. So John injects him with some type of like Iraq military morphine device that you kind of stab into yourself. And he injects that into Ben, which I guess is overdosing him. And then he injects Ophelia and then himself, and the three of them die together. And then it says the real ending was just more of a screw up. And it cuts back, and it starts again. And basically, John Travolta flies in like a hero, arrests Salma Hayek, who goes to prison for 30 years. Benicio del Toro gets away. And everybody lives happily ever after, with absolutely no consequences for any of their actions. Absurd. I couldn't believe it. I kind of like the first ending better, where everybody died, but that was kind of goofy too. So the ending was a bit strange. I think the last thing we see is Ophelia, Ben, and John on some deserted island. John Travolta being friends with them. They only had to serve like 2 weeks in jail, and now they're happily ever after. I think they're out of the weed business, and they're trying to do like solar energy or something. But Benicio del Toro forms a gang with Azul. His name in this movie is Lado, so they call it Azulato, I think. And he forms a new gang in Mexico, and that's it. Everybody's happy except Salma Hayek, who's in prison, but since she got her daughter back, she's probably happy too. So yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like these two guys and their girlfriend have all this crazy stuff happen, and then just get away with it scot-free at the end. So yeah, that was a little bit strange, but overall, I have to say that this movie was amazing. It was very well done, and if you have any interest in seeing this, you should definitely check it out, because you will probably love this movie just like I did. So that's it. That's my review of The Savages. I hope you guys liked this video. Leave your thoughts on the movie in the comments below, and thanks for watching.